To me, Nikes are so much more than just shoes. They represent innovation, evolution, and style over time. I always imagined a Nike tree, one that started off in 1972 and plotted all of the major Nike innovations, so that when new shoes come out, we can see where they stand in relation to the big giant Nike family. Behind me, I started my own innovation tree, and I want to show it to you. It starts right off in the middle in 1972. Come on over here. Over here, we've got a pair of Nike Blazer highs. That was the first high-top basketball shoe made by Nike. And then over here, the Moon shoe, the prototype Nike Waffle. This one was buried in Bill Bowerman's yard. From Bowerman's yard, we're in my own yard, and I want to get back to the innovation tree. So if the Blazer was the big innovation of the 70s for basketball, in the 80s, the Air Force One was one of the big innovations. And up top, we've got a pair of white-on-white Air Force One highs. Nowadays, there's Air Force One highs, mids, lows. There's Air Force Ones with lunar midsoles, but it all started in 1982 with a basketball shoe named after the president's plane. Come on around here. I want to show you some more pivotal basketball shoes from the 80s. The next one we're going to look at is the Nike Dunk. There's a high top pair made to look vintage. It's in University of Arizona colors. That's my alma mater. The Nike Dunk came out in 1985, and it was the first basketball shoe that matched collegiate uniforms. And it sort of broke an unwritten rule about wearing plain Jane shoes, and now the shoes match the uniforms. And ever since, the Dunk has been a symbol of expression amongst sneakerheads. Come on down here. Let's look at the big daddy from the 80s, the Air Jordan 1. This shoe started off the Air Jordan line. Here we are 29 years later on the Air Jordan 29. But not only does this branch of the tree start off the Air Jordan family, it also starts off the family of other signature shoes. Players like LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Michael Vick. They all have their own shoes, and it starts with this branch of the tree. Look in between there. Peer over there. It wasn't all basketball and running. In 1987, Tinker Hatfield designed the Air Trainer 1. It was the first cross-training shoe. It was made for multiple sports. It was actually worn by John McEnroe on the tennis court, but pretty soon after, the cross-training line was taken over by Bo Jackson. So come on over here. You can see the Air Trainer SC High in the University of Auburn colors. Look how that branch connects with the Air Trainer 1 branch, and you can see how it's a family. Another sport that Nike added on in 2002 was skateboarding. There's the Danny Supa Dunk SB Low. That's the first ever skateboarding dunk. Back in 1985, skaters were actually wearing Air Jordans. But then around the turn of the millennium, skaters got into dunks, and Nike answered with the SB line. Come around here. Let's finish out basketball. We talked about the 80s. Let's go to the 90s. Here is the Air Foamposite 1, designed by Eric Avar, first worn on the basketball court by Mike Bibby at the University of Arizona. It was supposed to be part of the Penny Hardaway signature line of shoes. Nowadays, we've got Air Foamposite 1s. The pros have the swoosh. There's other posits too, like Flight Posits, but it started here with the Foamposite 1 in Neon Royal. Let's do running. Here we go, the Moon shoe. Gotta look at it again. I can't believe that I have a shoe that was handmade by Bill Bowerman. I mean, I can't believe it. It's only one shoe, it's not a pair, but it's the best shoe in my collection. So from the Waffle prototype, come on up here to the Oregon Waffle, which was the first waffle sold to the public. Originally made in 1973, these ones are in University of Oregon colors, which is where Nike got started at Hayward Field, the track field at the U of O. Come around here. Speaking of track, Steve Prefontaine, there's the Pre-Montreal track spike. Prefontaine was the first track star to run in Nike shoes. Around here, Tailwinds. This is the first shoe with Nike Air. But you can't see the airbag. That didn't happen for about 10 years later. Look up top here at the Air Max 1. That's the Air Max Day Edition. Designed by Tinker Hatfield in 1987, the Air Max 1 was designed by the George Pompidou Center, and notice that visible air bubble. Changed the game forever. The next big innovation are shocks. The R4 stands for Running 4, and then the BB4, Basketball 4. Notice the BB4 is on a branch towards the basketball section. A lot of these categories mishmash. Think about like the Huarache innovation. There was a runner, there was a cross trainer, there was a basketball shoe. These branches intertwine. And lastly, the Flyknits, unveiled in 2012 with the Olympics. That's the huge innovation right there. Amazing. They're making Flyknits as soccer shoes. They're making Flyknits as running shoes. They're making Flyknits as basketball shoes. But there you have it, the beginnings of the Nike innovation tree.